from the channel English Rumi. Today I'm gonna share with you my investigations regarding the original nationality of Jalaluddin Rumi. Is he Iranian, Afghani, Tajik, or Turkish? My conclusion in the end is quite controversial, so stay awakened till the end because it's coming up. To start, let's find out which city Rumi was born in. Rumi was born in the year 1207 in a village called Vakhsh, which is in present-day Tajikistan, and very close to the main city of Balkh, which is in present-day Afghanistan. Balkh was at the time one of the greatest cultural centers of Persian or Iranian civilization, and Rumi's dad, in fact, used to work there as a jurist since Rumi was 5, and later they moved to Samarkand, which is a city in present day Uzbekistan. Therefore, so far, you can see where the claims of Rumi being Afghan or Tajik is coming from. Rumi's younghood was during the rule of the Khwarezmian dynasty, who used to govern most of present day Iran, Afghanistan, the whole of Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and also parts of Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. All these countries belong to a socio-cultural region named Greater Iran, as during most of history, these countries were ruled by Persian, Iranian, or at least Persianate or Persianized dynasties. Moreover, we have to notice that the oldest country trailing Iran among the ones I just mentioned is Afghanistan, which was separated from Iran only 3 centuries ago. In addition, you may have realized that all of these countries' official names end with the suffix stan, which is a suffix in the Persian language, meaning land, region, or place. One other thing that is much more interesting to me as a person who lived half of his life in Canada is that I met there many Afghans who all initially introduced themselves as Persians as their nationality. And when they were asked about their ethnicity, they would have said that they are from some city in Afghanistan. And they were definitely right because their language is mainly Persian or versions of Persian, and their culture is Persian. For one thing, they celebrate Nowruz, just like all other Iranians. The same statements are more or less right about Tajiks. Rumi's family immigrated westward during the Mongol invasion of Central Asia between 1215 to 1220. Around this time, Rumi, being only a teenager, meets Attar, another great mystic Persian poet, in Nishapur. Nishapur, located in present-day Iran, is another city in Greater Khorasan, just like Balkh. Khorasan is a region or province of Iran even at the moment, and Greater Khorasan encompasses most of Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, and Tajikistan. So region-wise, Rumi is from Greater Khorasan. After Nishapur, Rumi's migrating caravan went to Mecca to perform the pilgrimage. On the way, they also stayed in Baghdad for a short period to meet many scholars and Sufis of the city. Maybe even Iraqis can claim Rumi was Iraqi because Rumi spent a period of his life in their land, even though there was no independent Iraqi sovereign at the time. Returning from Mecca, passing through Damascus, Rumi's family finally settled in Karaman, located in Anatolia, in present-day Turkey, for 7 years. In 1225, Rumi married his first wife in Karaman, where he also lost his mother and brother. At this time, Rumi was 18. In 1228, most likely as a result of the insistent invitation of the ruler of Anatolia, Rumi's dad migrated with his family from Karaman and finally settled in Konya, within the westernmost territories of the Seljuk Sultanate of Rome. Seljuk was also a Persianized Turk dynasty ruling over Greater Iran during most of the 11th and 12th centuries, but as they were declined by the forces of the Khwarezmian Empire in the 13th century during the life of Rumi, they only had Anatolia in their dominance. Anatolia was heavily influenced by the Christian Byzantine Empire, also known as Eastern Roman Empire. for almost a millennium. And that's why Rumi is called Rumi in the Persian language, also known as Farsi or Parsi. Rumi means from Rome, or basically Rome, since in the ancient Persia they used to use the region of your residence as your second name to further distinguish you. We can see as well why Rumi was greatly influenced by Jesus Christ and also had a great relationship with Christians at the time. And since Rumi stayed in Konya for the rest of his life, the Turks of Turkey also have a claim on Rumi's nationality, even though the sovereignty over Anatolia at this moment is not yet called Turkey. And in fact, the real Turkish influence on the region only started when Ottomans took over Anatolia, because the official language of court and literature of Seljuks of Anatolia was still Persian. Moreover, the only thing left Turkish from Rumi is very few Turkish verses, yet all his books known today were written in Persian or Iranian language. However, even though Iranians fairly win the combat over the nationality of Rumi, and Tajiks or even Afghans win the ethnicity of Rumi, this win is totally worthless, since we have to see which nation or sovereignty steps more faithfully or accordingly in the shoes of Rumi's wisdom and values in today's world. To discuss this topic, I have to include the current governments of all these nations as part of my comparison, as I strongly believe in the quote by Joseph de Maistre, saying people get the government they deserve. Sounding harsh, this doesn't necessarily mean that if a government is corrupt, then every single person in that nation is corrupt. But it just means that the resultant or the average outcome of that nation's social and political traits leads to the government that administers them. So it might be the case that most people of a nation are very decent human beings, but because they are passive in the society, or the masses of the nation as a whole are not effectively performing their social or political duties, the resultant outcome doesn't lead to a better government that they individually may deserve. Do follow me till the end of the clip, where I will quote you an illuminating Persian proverb coined by a great Iranian philosopher that simply put this context to one fabulous sentence. So getting back to our discussion, let's start with Afghanistan. Clearly, the resultant outcome of Afghanis' Islamist prejudice and bigotry against other religions and women in particular is their current government, the Taliban. Unfortunately, the harsh and unfair traits toward women in Afghanistan is not just the trait of the supporters of the Taliban. The situation in Iran is also not much better than in Afghanistan, as you see very violent actions towards the women who are not wearing headscarves. Furthermore, in overwhelmingly Shia-affected Iran, there is no fair tolerance against other religions or other political or sociological thoughts. Moreover, in Iran, Rumi has been denounced by some hardliner Shia clerics, and the government imprisoned many Sufis or dervishes. Therefore, present-day Iran is also very far from the spirit of Rumi's intelligence. On the other hand, in Turkey, you see much greater tolerance and unity among different religions and systems of thought. In Konya, they annually celebrate the memorial of Rumi with a whirling dervish festival in a cheerful manner on the death anniversary of Rumi, instead of extreme mourning, which is very common among Muslims, especially Shias. Not saying Turkey is perfect, but Turkey definitely wins the battle of keeping the spirit of Rumi alive in the current world. And they can claim Rumi as theirs, but they still have to learn Persian to understand the original poems of Rumi. Tajikistan can also win the silver medal here, as its political system offers more unity and tolerance among different ideologies. In the end, I gotta say that we have to consider Rumi as an exceptional soul belonging to all humanity, and not strictly assign him to one limited culture. If Rumi was alive today and you would ask him about his nationality, he would reread this poem of his for you. What is to be done, O Muslims? For I do not know myself. I am neither Christian, nor Jew, nor Magian, nor Muslim. I'm not of the east, nor of the west, nor of the land, nor of the sea. I'm not from India, nor China, nor Bulgaria, nor Turkestan. I'm not from the kingdom of the two Iraqs, nor from the earth of Khorasan. So here he even defines his motherland as a label on him, which is Khorasan. And in the end, he says, "Oh, Shams of Tabriz, I'm so drunk in this world that other than drunkenness and revelry, nothing can cure me." Let me know your thoughts regarding this clip in the comments section. Please like this clip if you liked it, and dislike it with all your power if you hated it. Being neutral and passive isn't always suitable. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the ring button so you get notified of my next video. Now I finished this clip with a life-changing quote by Nasser Khosrau, another great Persian poet, philosopher, and traveler.
It's from us what's upon us.